Hey, what's up, everybody? Remember, if you like the videos, like, sub, silly, comment, share, support the channel if you can. I appreciate it. Thanks. Today, we're going to talk about when theory fighting goes wrong. Theory fighting gone wrong, whatever, right? Like anyone who is into a hobby or something that you enjoy to different varying extents, we probably all like, imagining how the game might work, right? I'm lucky enough that I've been able to accurately predict how these games are going to work year after year, game after game, right? But you still actually need to test the theory, right? We live in a day and age where, man, look at this. We even have these old games, which I'm going to give an example. We even have these old games where we can actually turn on the hurt boxes and hit boxes, right? We have wikis for all these games where you can see the exact frame data, right? This is how this move, whatever, blah, blah. We have and I've talked about before, a lot of the newer people in the community will get mad when you talk about a move has priority, right? But, when we talk about priority back in the day, and we should still talk about it now, right? We kind of encompass everything. We encompass the hurt boxes, we encompass the hit boxes, we encompass the frame data, how it and interacts with someone else's move, right? Instead of like, oh, this frame data here, this hitbox here, it must do this, right? And, we even have these newer games that just give you the frame data here and all the hitboxes, right? But you still need to actually test the theory, right? Even if you have all these cliff notes, right? It's still a video game, right? So you actually have to test the theory, right? And I was thinking of an example of how you can tell theory fighting gone wrong and why, so much of these cliff notes, and it doesn't matter how many frame data you have, how many like hurt boxes and hit boxes that you can see, you still actually need to play the game, right? So a couple examples. One, I was looking at this game, right? And there's a wiki for this game, and they have all the hurt boxes, frame data, blah, blah, blah. And they were saying what moves were good, right? What moves were good with Guy, right? And they said this move, did they say it's terrible, it's awful, it's horrible? I guess this move looks like it has a terrible hitbox and hurt box compared to his other moves. But the weird thing is, to be honest, if you've actually played this game and didn't just look at the hurt boxes, didn't just look at the speed of the move, you would know that this move actually is one of Guy's best moves priority-wise, right? Now, the Wikipedia, maybe they actually haven't played the game. Maybe they just looked at the frame data and the hurt boxes and the hit boxes like, oh, that move must suck, right? Oh, this move goes farther. It must be better. This move goes farther. This move must be better. But a weird thing about this, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Alpha 1, is if you've actually played Alpha 1, right, without indulging too much into like the tiers and everything like this, you would know that, just a little bit to talk about it is there's a lot of sort of like kind of very powerful feeling moves in this game, right? They don't feel like strange. Like this game doesn't have moves where really, unless you're like Rose. Rose has a lot of moves that don't seemingly make sense with supers and everything, but generally speaking, moves do what they look like they do, right? You know what I mean? But a lot of characters, this is an old game. A lot of moves are powerful, right? So when you think about a character like Guy who is generally considered a good character, you might think that Guy has a lot of very high priority moves. But if you actually play the game, if we're just talking about standing normals, Guy's pokes and normals are pretty suspect, right? I mean, sweep is good, right? Sweep is good, right? But it actually kind of makes sense because look, it does like no damage, right? Now, of course, if you're talking about the meta of the game, because the move is almost instant, right? When you are actually using this to beat pokes at this range, the poke, you'll get that damage because you're beating the poke, right? It's going to hit you there, so But if we're talking about the actual priorities of his moves that actually seem good, like that's a good move, you know what I mean? I guess stand short seems like it beats a lot of moves that you might be a little bit surprised about. But, people are like, oh, this move is amazing, right? If you actually play this game, right, and you actually look at this move, you would actually be like, wow, this move, it's awesome that you can cancel it. You know what I mean? But if you're actually using it as a poke, I think you would see that, man, if you play even a game like Street Fighter 4, even a game like Street Fighter 4 where they gave Guy shorter legs for whatever reason, this move works better as it looks, let's say, in Street Fighter 4, as the hitboxes and hurt boxes look, because it just seems to interact with moves better, right? But when you actually play this game and use this move, despite this move hitting like half a screen away, it feels like, and you can cancel it. If you're legitimately using it to only, as it looks, to beat pokes, it doesn't work that well. Just reading the frame data of the move, just looking at the hurt boxes and hitboxes of this move, it doesn't actually beat a lot of shit that you would think it would beat, considering so many other moves do, right, in this game, right? But if you actually use this move beats a ton of shit. This move actually beats stuff that it looks like it would beat. Unlike Alpha 2, where you can actually duck the move or whatever. Like, unlike Alpha 2, where the move, it goes over lows, but then it can't hit a ducking person. Who the fuck did you even test the game, Alpha 2? This move actually beats a ton of shit. You can even anti-air with this move, right? You know what I mean? This move beats a lot of moves actually for free, right? Now, in the grand scheme of the game, you know, you don't get a lot of damage for what you're doing because, you know, the ranges that you're using it, you know, and you think about the game having chain combos. So if you take everything into play, maybe in that instance, the move is not totally amazing. But if you're thinking about the move just from looking at the Wikipedia, this move saying, oh, this move has amazing priority, this move has terrible priority, you have failed the assignment if you think this move has terrible priority and doesn't beat anything and is awful. Because if you actually play this game, it just so happens that this move is actually one of Guy's few moves that actually has good priority, if you think about it like that, right? You know, again, I don't want to talk too much about the game because talking a little bit about the game is going to make me talk more about the game. But a lot of Guy's moves, you know what I mean? Like this move, you know, that hits ducking people, and it beats a lot of moves that you might be like, oh yeah, okay, this move, it works pretty effectively. As a matter of fact, I dare say this move from about this range functions probably better than this move than you would think. From about this max range, functions better, right? And then if you're actually using this move, you'd use a move like this, right? But that's an example of where theory fighting goes wrong, right? Because you haven't actually tested the theory. You've looked at these hurt boxes and hit boxes and you're like, oh, this move must be amazing because it goes so far and you can cancel it. Oh, mid-screen. It's like, yeah, you can do that. But you know what I mean? If we're doing this from this range where this hits, let's say this, right? Because if you use this move from around this range, right? It doesn't beat a lot of shit. What is this move does like 12. This is 12, 14. So if we're actually trying to legitimately beat pokes from this range, we have the slide, it does too. But remember, if you're actually beating a poke, you're going to do that and you're going to get the same damage. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, of course, the fact that you can cancel it, that is a thing, but you know what I mean? The idea that you are harassing a guy like this, you know what I mean? And it just beats everything like that, you know what I mean? It doesn't actually beat things like that if you actually play this game. You know, it's there kind of move if you play. The priority is nothing special, right? Slide, good move. Slide is legitimately has a lot of priority and it beats a lot of stuff. This move, no. This move that people say is awful on the Wikipedia because I guess it's slower and it looks like it has a worse hurt box. If you actually play the game, it actually beats a lot of shit. Now, again, of course, you know, if you take everything to an account, you know, unfortunately, you don't get a lot of damage off it. But again, hopefully you see what I'm talking about, failing the assignment. And finally, it also makes me even think about Street Fighter 6 because Street Fighter 6, again, you think about a game being so pre-planned, predetermined, all this kind of stuff, and like, oh, this combo must do this combo must do that. I think it goes to show you why people never had tried so many simple things that I talked about. Like, you know, no one had done Rush Fierce Micro Walk for Slimer Rush to get bigger combos. You guys have had the fucking cracked beta for 6 months. No one ever did it once. You know, it's like, oh, well, we've had all the frame data and we just, you know, we thought all the combos are so pre-planned. It's like all this pre-planned stuff. You have all these cliff notes in front of you and you forgot to actually just sort of try things out. Which, to be honest, I think you would be able to, even if you read the frame data of the move, you should be able to see that, oh, it does so many more frames, I should be able to walk a little bit forward and this should work. I feel like it's just a complete oversight. But again, the point is, even if you theory fight, you have to test the theory. even when I predicted so many of these different games, and the weird thing is a lot of people say like Clayton is so narcissistic, he wants credit for everything, blah blah blah. I just say, don't say that everything that I've found is fake, and then once you can do it, it's real. Don't say that everything I'm doing is fake, make up all these lies about me so people don't watch my videos, and then once you can do it, it's real. That's fucking stupid, right? And then you take credit for it. Again, the hypocrisy that you say, I want credit, but then you want credit and clout for everything. It's ridiculous, right? You know, you got to remember, I put out all this stuff so you guys can try it. So many of these betas I never even get to play. I literally am basically spoon feeding you guys information, right? When I talk like, I would try this. If I was going to play this game, I'm like, this would be the first thing I try. Because there's a theory, but you have to try the theory. So again, Alpha 1 in general is a game that people talk about, and they talk about, you know, some of these old games like, oh, guy, he must be the, you know, amazing because he redizzies you off every hit. It's like, you think because you read he has a redizzy that he automatically redizzies you off every hit? Not how the game works. Oh, Stan Medium, look at the speed of this move. Oh, this must be the most ridiculous poke because you can cancel it. And it's like, if you actually play the game, it doesn't beat the kind of shit you think it would beat, right? You know what I mean? It's very ho-hum for what it is in this game. A lot of characters have a lot of very powerful moves in this game. This move, literally almost the only thing special about it is that it's a far-ranging poke that you can cancel it. Because the priority that you think, because you look at the hurt boxes and hitboxes and speed, must be so amazing. When you actually combine it with interacting with other characters, it doesn't actually work that way. Anyway, remember if you like the videos, like, subscribe, comment, share, support the channel if you want. I appreciate it. Thanks. The end.